See that there?
Yes, sir.
All right, thanks, guys. Here we go. Back, folks. Welcome to the I70 and Coach Clay Show. Hope you guys are doing great on this Monday evening.
Yes. Let's see where everybody's at today.
All right.
Do a kind of a location roll call, something different.
Check where everyone's at here. Roni returns. Hey, out there, shout out to you. Ready to get in the game, coach. Take me off the bench. You're in. Let's get him in right now.
Get in Discord. I'll pull you up.
Yeah, it's not about who is the best player. It is about who shows the most effort. That is always the better way to form a team. All right, who we got out here? KC, nice to see you. Teresa B, Kathleen in the house tonight. Crow for Freedom now. Always like your name there. Scott D. All right, Qualico Canada. Billy the Kid's out there as well. Susan Riley. Who do you see out there? I70.
I got Kirk Allen, Scott D, Linda, Sandy, QT Pie, Lily Bear, University alum, Core Channel from Michigan, Mark Smith from Northern Colorado, Q Curious from Michigan, Local Zero in Ohio, like myself.
Yeah, looks like we're pushing lots of numbers out there on the channel right now, about 1,600 I'm showing. And we got some fun from Tennessee. We got Georgia out there, Ohio, Nebraska, Central New York, East Texas. All right, all around the world here. Finger Lakes, New York, Ontario, another Canadian Patriot. Nice to see you out there. Chicago Burbs, New Orleans, right? We're all around the world here. Let's see. Anybody over from Europe out there or maybe down in Africa, South America, give a shout out here to yourself. Orangeville, California, what's going on? Nice to see you. Chase Ellsworth's out there as well. All right, Q sent me. All right, there's a nice, great Blue Wrenches out there. Greenest McDragons in the house as well. Great to see you, man.
Yep. A couple from Canada. That's awesome. Japan, Netherlands.
We got PW Class B.
He's on the mothership.
It's great to see everyone out there, man. Hope
Western Maryland
weekend and Saskatchewan. I know, isn't that a weird word out there? We've got a lot of
like saying it.
We've got a lot of weird words like that here in Canada. Most of them come from the indigenous people's languages that they were first here. So I think that is one of those.
Yeah, love it.
Could be wrong. What's Mr. Maryland out there? All right. Great Northwest, Tacoma, Washington, Japan. All right. Nice to see you out there, Natsushima. Great to have you on the channel. Come on in and chat with us if you like. If not, someone else will show you how to get into Discord. It's
links down below.
Yeah, we always have the the call lines open throughout the 2 hours of the show. So make sure you call in. Anyone who wants to chat with us. All right, Guardians of Intelligence is out there as well, and Tetsunami 511 carrying the wrench. Good to see you out there. Hope you're feeling well, and definitely put your feet up there if you need to rest, my friend.
All righty, let's go ahead with the outline.
I've been kind of in the matrix for most of the afternoon, so why don't we share the screen here and take us up to date with President Trump's tweets for the day, and then we'll go on from there. I know we do have a guest mod coming in here to do a little presentation, so.
Awesome. I believe it's SC Cali, correct?
Yeah, he's going to pod in here and talk to us about Q post from last year at this time.
All right, sweet.
All right, do you see my screen there?
Yep, good to go.
All right, awesome there. And nice to see you, best Nani ever. Great to have you here. And Wampus Cat. All right, a few more Patriots coming in there. I didn't notice the first time. Great to see everybody here. Okay, so it looks like 14 hours ago, and on my clock, it was 3:49 a.m. President Trump started tweeting here. Whoops, clicked out of that. Bring it back up here again. Two-part tweet here. POTUS says, in quotes here, it's the attack strategy of harass. This is not about the Attorney General, who is very sophisticated and knows it isn't about him. It's about trying to destroy President Trump through an assault on his AG for upholding the rule of law. He released a massive amount of ... information. As long as President Trump is president, his opposition will use every tool and misuse every tool available to make his life miserable. And that's at Tom Fitton, at Judicial Watch, at Lou Dobbs. Sadly, this is from President Trump, sadly, this proves I am doing a great job. Also, best economy and employment numbers ever.
Yeah, it doesn't fit the narrative.
No, definitely not. And he's, he's affecting not just your guys' economy right now, but the economy worldwide with some of the trade deals that he's doing, and with the trade tariffs and et cetera that he's now implemented, which is in most countries is going to be a positive for the economy, given the fact that you guys are, at a positive, I think, 3.2% GDP right now. So, except for a country like myself, who right now, pretty much all the larger countries now are turning their face against our fearless leader. All right. Next, President Trump tweet came in here at 3:49 a.m. here. He says, I say openly to President Xi, I and all of my many friends in China, that China will be hurt very badly if you don't make a deal, because companies will be forced to leave China for other countries. Too expensive to buy in China. You had a great deal, almost completed, and you backed out. So did that just happen today that they backed out, or was that something that was yesterday? I can't remember.
I believe it's yesterday.
All in all, I think it's just some stall tactics for the moment here as things play out. I mean, as more and more truth plays out, none of these people that are even have been talking to China in the back behind President Trump's team here are going to necessarily be around on the political scene. So I think, even China backing out might just be a play as part of the plan. It could be. That could be. Don't know. We will see. All right, next one here. Can we end here at 3:52 a.m.? President Trump tweets out, "Thank you at Fox and Friends. Great show this morning, and congratulations on your #1 by far rating. Well deserved."
Pretty self-explanatory.
Yes. Although I think he does give another shout out to OA and N as well here in the next tweet. I think he also needs to start throwing out more tweets, shout outs to other places like Right Side Broadcasting, who did a great job of showing some of his rallies. And by all means, we could take a shout out here on the Patriot Soapbox. That'd be great. It's all right. So here again at 3:56 a.m., President Trump tweets here. Also, congratulations to at OANN on the great job you're doing in the big ratings jump in brackets here. Thank you, President Trump. A little bit of a troll there almost on them. Here we go here. Came in at 4:02 a.m. And it says here, the unexpectedly good first quarter, 3.2 GDP, was greatly helped by tariffs from China. Some people just don't get it. That was just what I was talking about there. Exactly. And right now, I think we're in a negative, or not negative, but we're down, I think 1.9 or 2% in ours from where we were. So we are not doing the right trade deals here in Canada. And Mr. President Trump, I'm sure, is waiting his time out to before he does something else with our country. Perhaps it might even be to October when we have our vote and we finally boot out this liberal government.
When's Trudeau? When's he go or his vote up?
Yeah, that's in late October or mid-October, I believe.
That'd be nice if he goes.
So another 6 months.
Go ahead.
This one?
I thought you froze there for a second.
I'm not sure. You still got me?
Yeah, you're good.
Do you want to read this one? I'm just going to plug in my computer.
Yeah. Has anyone noticed that all the Boston Has anyone noticed that all the Boston at Red Sox have done is win since coming to the White House? Others have also done very well. The White House visit is becoming the opposite of being on the cover of Sports Illustrated. By the way, the Boston players were great guys. And being on the cover of the Sports Illustrated has a little curse that goes with it, is what he's referring to for anybody that's not following 100%.
I didn't know about this so-called curse.
Yeah, as soon as you get your picture or your team on there, then something crazy happens.
Oh, yeah. And it's kind of been the opposite. Pretty much every team that's come there has been winning afterwards, yeah.
Yep.
And I'd just like to give that shout out to the last Canadian team here in any sports, the Raptors. They won on the buzzer Game 7 last night. Going to the next round. Good for them. We don't got no Yankees or Red Sox to cheer for here, folks. All right. So the next one here was a retweet from Ronald McDonald. Joe Biden let China get away with cheating when he was vice president, and he continues to naively dismiss China today. China is stealing from American businesses, hurting our workers, and @real Donald Trump is right to fight back. And not only that, but add into it as well about how about that weakened steel and aluminum that they were selling to your country. And I'm not going to be naive here. I'm sure they're selling it to us, possibly still are.
Right.
Yep. And out there in live chat, Charles Pelkley says, Coach Clay, your thoughts on the rumors of Trudeau announcing firearms ban on first week of June in BC with the New Zealand Prime Minister? I wouldn't doubt it, sir. I would not doubt it that is something that he might try to do here. Within the next few months, we are going to see him do some drastic things publicly to try to buy votes. It's his only way to perhaps be able to stay in.
Yep. All righty. 11 hours ago. Bernie Sanders, the economy is doing well, and I'm sure I don't have to give Trump any credit. I'm sure he'll take all the credit that he wants. Wrong, Bernie. The economy is doing great and would have crashed if my opponent and yours, crooked Hillary Clinton, had ever won.
Yeah, they would have loved it. They would have loved it. The economy went bad. It is so funny. We're folks. We're in a time here where almost the only thing that we have, that they have, that we're seeing here in their owned media is projection. It is just straight out projection by one and then another one. Here, Bernie Sanders is just again projecting. It's all that they have left is try to convince their population of whatever they have left of voters that things are still going in their favor. Oh man. Big John Q Public out there says, I'm in Michigan at work right now. If I look out the door to the east, I can see Sarnia. Man, that's pretty neat how close we are as countries, right? It's unfortunate how our government, or at least my government, and I will not fault yours at all, has been trying to churn us against each other in many different ways. So we are probably, you know, the closest brothers and sisters that are out there and around the world in terms of how close we are over the years. Yeah.
All righty.
Right. Whoops. I think I missed one there. Let me back up there. There it is. Here it is. Democrat Representative Taleb is being slammed for her horrible and highly insensitive statement on the Holocaust. She obviously has tremendous hatred of Israel and the Jewish people. Can you imagine what would happen if I ever said what she said and says?
Yep, they'd flip out and crucify him. Double standard hypocrites.
Yeah.
But they're just, at this point, it's like got to be just paid CIA deep state assets at this point. It's just getting so unbelievable. I can't even turn on the TV to do opposition research anymore.
Right. No, I get you. I know. And I mean, in my opinion, after the D class comes out and the FISA and all that information, then at that point, indictments on potential people that are in the house there can start to proceed. And as I believe, I can't remember what Q post it was, but did he not mention that was going to happen at some point, and then good patriots again could be instated in those positions?
Yep,
that's what I'm looking forward to. All right, next one here, little two-parter, came in at 8:55 a.m. here, and President Trump tweets, "There is no reason for the U.S. consumer to pay the tariffs which take effect on China today. This has been proven recently when only 4 points were paid by the U.S., 21 points by China, because China subsidizes product to such a large degree. Also, the tariffs can be completely avoided if you buy them from a non-tariff country, or if you buy the product inside the USA, in brackets, the best idea. That's zero tariffs. Many tariffed companies will be leaving China for Vietnam and other countries, and other such countries in Asia. That's why China wants to make a deal so badly." Here's the third part here. "There will be nobody left in China to do business with. Very bad for China, very good for USA. But China has taken so advantage of the USA for so many years that they are way ahead. In parentheses, our presidents did not do the job. Therefore, China should not retaliate. Will only get worse." See, and the big thing that President Trump is really talking about here is that, and we have one with China as well, China needs a lot of our goods and commodities from the U.S. and Canada. That's one of the things, and 412 was mentioning about your country on Freedom Rings earlier, and how rich in resources it is, and not just resources in terms of oil and gas and other things such as that, but also on the ground, in the dirt, in terms of being able to grow food and things. And well, Canada is very similar, although we have a slightly different growing season compared to what you have down there, or in the great state of California, where you have such a vast amount of food being grown. Anyway, my point being is, China is a country who does not have that, and they have a growing population. And obviously, they already have a huge population. So they need many, many, many different things from our countries. And right now, I think that they're, I don't know what it is that they're doing right now, but in terms of this, I think it's just kind of a waiting period here where they're trying to figure things out. But all in all, the USA is in a great position around the world right now. And President Trump is right on point here, guys. What do you think, I70?
I think he nailed it. I agree 100%.
All right. Next here was a retweet from the White House. Says, "This afternoon, President Trump welcomed Prime Minister Viktor Orban of Hungary to the Oval Office." And I'm going to bring this up for people to see.
Probably, like me, a little bit controversial. But
Let's go back to the beginning there, folks. Bring the volume up.
Go ahead.
Thank you very much. It's a great honor to have with us the Prime Minister of Hungary. And Viktor Orban has done a tremendous job in so many different ways.
Sorry there, folks. Started spinning here on mine.
Highly respected all over Europe. Probably like me, a little bit controversial, but that's okay. That's okay. You've done a good job, and you've kept your country safe. We'll be discussing NATO. As you know, Hungary is a proud member of NATO, and we've really gotten to know each other a little bit. And we'll be discussing trade, very much so, and lots of other subjects. We'll be meeting with representatives of Hungary later on with the Prime Minister, and we'll spend some very good time together. So, Mr. Prime Minister, thank you very much for being at the White House. Thank you very much. It's a great honor.
That's great.
Yeah.
Out there, live chat, Renanon says the main thing China needs is our consumers, and he's definitely got a point there. Two things: they need commodities, and they need consumers from the West to buy a lot of their products. I mean,
they need us way more than we need them. We buy. People don't get it, but we buy twice as much as the next person. We are the consumers, so they need us way more than we need in. We don't need that junk stuff.
No, I totally get you, I totally agree. My point is that, I mean, look here, folks. President Trump is selling rice to China. Okay.
Yeah.
That's how good the trade deals are going for you guys, right? So yeah, it's right on point here. And Manny Ottawa here in Canada on Twitter there tweeted out about this tweet today President Trump was involved in, saying that they didn't want to invite the Prime Minister Viktor Orban of Hungary to Canada because our Prime Minister might say that he's from Turkey.
Yeah, I remember that.
Next one here. 2:32 p.m. President Trump tweets out here, my administration will be fighting for $200 million for the Army Corps Everglades restoration work this year. Congress needs to help us complete this world's largest intergovernmental watershed restoration project as soon as possible. Good for Florida and good for the environment. All right.
Yeah. I heard today that China has 2 million Muslims in concentration camps.
Would not surprise me.
It was on. I heard it on Fox today.
Right. Yeah, I have a tweet from earlier that shows the amount of people who have been not murdered by the government. What's the word I'm thinking of? I'll pull it up later when we're going through those other tweets and show you what I mean.
All right.
Sorry. All right, here, coming up to the next one. Under my administration, we are restoring at NASA to greatness, and we are going back to the moon, then Mars. I am updating my budget to include an additional $1.6 billion so that we can return to space in a big way.
Huh. Wonder what that means.
I don't know. That's a big amount of money, and wow, that's awesome. I think he's really trying to show people that he means business in terms of what's going to go on in space in the future here, next few decades.
Yep.
Right. Here we go. Pulling up the next one here. This one came in at 2:38 p.m. We must protect our Great Lakes, keeping them clean and beautiful for future generations. That's why I'm fighting for $300 million in my updated budget for the Great Lakes Restoration Initiative.
Oh. Yeah, that's awesome. I'm all about that.
Yeah. Well, I wish at the same time, I hope he cuts off the contract that Nestle has to drain the lakes for water. That's what they've been sticking in their bottles. It's
yeah, they need to at least pay a fair amount for the material they're taking. Hey, I've got Clarion and Deb 65 in the room also too.
All right.
I forgot about them.
No problem. Welcome to the show, guys. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing good.
Awesome.
I'm Roger. That I'm doing well too. So we have a veritable quorum here, right?
That's right. Well, it looks like we got a few more President Trump tweets to go over, and by all means, just bump on in here and comment if you have anything to say after these ones. It's always good to have your guys' opinion. Pull up the next one here, which came in at 2:41 p.m. Today, I officially updated my budget to include $18 million for our great at Special Olympics, whose athletes inspire us and make our nation so proud. All right. Wow, he's really doing a lot of budget stuff today, it seems. And looking down here, oh yeah, there's those.
Hey, he just got hammered for hurting the Special Olympics just a month or two ago.
Oh, what were they projecting that he did at that point?
Oh, they were projecting that he took all their funding away when they're mostly funded by, they're like 80 or 90% funded by private.
Right.
I didn't know that. But it was just a budget thing, and they, you know how they roast him on it. They roast him on everything. He's the only one under a microscope in the whole damn city.
I know. Yeah, no, he's definitely, his terms in presidency, I think, are going to go down in history of being the most dissected, looked at, just everything they've tried to get at this guy, and he continues to succeed, right? People, there are people bugging him about his losing $1 billion over 10 years of doing business, right? There's people out there who lose $1 billion in 10 minutes.
Yeah, I'm not worried about millionaires becoming politicians. I'm more worried about politicians becoming millionaires.
Yeah, it's the concern fear that they spin with all this projection. That's all that they really do, is they spur up concern along with these certain people who just at this point don't have the intellect, or they're not awake enough to understand things going around them, right? Yeah, it's funny times we live in, but I'm smiling and laughing right here because it's just awesome to see that President Trump just continues to win, right?
It's funny. They're acting like he's not even in there, and just keep their game plan going. It's just,
yeah,
he's just pulling out one card at a time, and it's looking a little wobbly at this point.
Yeah. And literally, here we are 2 years into it, or however long, and President Trump still has not played really any of the cards that he has yet, other than waiting for the Mueller report to come out. If we can use that as one of the potential things, it didn't really stop them from their projection party that they've been having, right? So, the next things that he plays in his hand, I think, are the ones that are really going to make these people think about what they're doing, if you ask me.
Yep.
All right. So here we go. 4 hours ago, I'll bring this one up. Great to welcome Chairman Shin from Lot Group to the White House. They just invested $3.1 billion into Louisiana, biggest investment in U.S. ever from a South Korean company, and thousands more jobs for Americans. Great partners like ROK know the U.S. economy is running stronger than ever. Man, here we go, another one, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
I think that was a brilliant move to have that on his Twitter feed, because it's not happenstance, it's not coincidental that equity's lost big time globally, $1 trillion, because China believes they have a shot in the arm with what intel they're getting in terms of potentiality for a 2020 win by the Democrats. The deep state is all over this, in my opinion, and trying to ruin our economy. But the bottom line is this: in terms of trade imbalance, is the Chinese export nearly 560 billion. It's 557.9 billion to our exports to them of 179.3 billion. So here you have nearly 560 billion as the outflow from China to the United States.
Right.
And then the corollary to that is 180 billion outflow from the United States to China. That is an unbelievable deficit. So in 2018, that accounted for about 400 and not quite 420, but 419 billion in a delta, a negative delta for us. So, this is not something that's going to play out in the long term, for the deep state. So they may have gotten, a kind of a reaction in the market digesting the fact that China now, I should have predicated this on that China's actually going to now levy tariffs on our exports, right? But
Right.
That's not a long-term play in terms of we'll be able to absorb that in the market and get it out. But what it's a very fantastic reaction in the market that they'll be able to drive negative press around that. But the salient point is there's a huge trade imbalance. And getting back to, I think it was a brilliant move to have the South, that delegation from South Korea and then that investment in the United States. That's brilliant because the South Koreans are awesome trading partners of ours, high in tech. And, that's just great. And it's just amazing that the deep state, the lengths that they'll go. I guess we shouldn't be amazed about it, but it's just unbelievable. Continues to be unbelievable how they'll drive things. To actually the collective disadvantage and to our detriment as American citizens.
Yep, for sure.
Yeah, the Chinese have now put tariffs on or exports on our pork and our canola going out. So that's going to now really affect us because, as you know, we've stopped doing a lot of trade to your country as well. So now the Chinese cutting few, and there's going to be others because we have many things going on with the Chinese right now. They're still holding, I think 2 or 3 Canadians under arrest. They've killed 2 Canadians this year already, and we're still holding that. What's the word there? Huawei executive.
Huawei. Yeah, CFO.
So now Justin Trudeau, I think in the last week or two, has been asking the U.S. delegation to do something about her, take her or whatever. And there's nothing is going on right now. So the stall tactics, I think, are really starting to affect us up here with a lot of these countries.
Yeah, the Chinese. So that's a 4.5 to 1 ratio. Right. So they're going to be on the losing side of this equation if they're trying to do tit for tat, so to speak, with our, tariffs. It's just, and it's really, wow. Isn't it highly coincidental? We have the Q post of yesterday, boom, boom, boom week. And then we have the all of a sudden this Delta change in the whole trade deal that was negotiated. And now China is backing out of it because probably they're getting some back channel intel from the deep state, right, that, like I said a minute ago, that the Dems are going to prevail in 2020. That's how sick this thing is. And but we know that, when this stuff becomes transparent, when everything is laid out in terms of the FBI reports, the 302s, the FISA, and how all of that stuff was doctored, that's going to have a catalyst for but I believe China to sit up and realize that, hey, there's not going to be a Democrat Party anymore once all of this hijinks is basically thrown out there writ large to the general public. So it's just infuriating that we have market equities, tail spinning to the extent globally of $1 trillion. But, this will all be retraced and regained. So, but I just pointed out is the deep state continues to be at play, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that or, on another side of it, it could also be a stall tactic by the, alliance and working with the Chinese.
Right.
In my opinion, all in all, I can't see how the Chinese in the future want to deal with the deep state characters. They know what's up and all this. They know what's going down. They must know what's going to happen here in the next, what's coming out in the next little while here as well.
Yeah,
Enjoy the
but
movie.
they have a lot at stake too, right? So Huawei, a lot of these ostensibly, okay, they're not private companies. So basically, they're part of the state. And talk about fascism. I mean, these companies, it's kind of a quasi. They were admitted to the World Trade WTO organization many years ago. But the bottom line is they're still, state sponsored, right? And so, where I'm going with this is that they have a lot to lose with the D-class and all that. So basically,
Yes.
they were part of this, all of these backdoor devices and chips that are in all of our electronics. And basically, Huawei was essentially a state proxy business that they accomplished that in. So they have a lot at stake. And so if there's back channels going on with the Chinese, which there are from the deep state, assuring them. So, we need to be continually vigilant and prayers up for the alliance, right, and for the white hats, because this continues to be an exceptionally fluid plan. That there is a plan, but these people are unscrupulous, meaning they'll do anything. They will do anything. So it doesn't surprise me with the latest with the Chinese.
Yeah. I keep thinking in the back of my mind, and maybe it's just a feeling that I get that, even though it is the communist country or whoever the rulers are over there, that they still deal with it or deal in the traditional Chinese thinkings and I can name a handful at least, but the two main things that President Trump has shown to not only them but to the world, but to them over his presidency is honor and respect, and those are two things that are very valuable for them. So I can't see them going against him now after getting to this far, in the sense of no. And I understand what you're saying. I, in the sense, think that they know that they've got a lot to lose, and I think they know that they're going to take a loss here. They're gonna have to accept it because of what's changing around the world, right? It's not just what's happening right now with your country in China or our country in China. I mean, we've got 27 weeks in a row that there's been hundreds of thousands of people in France walking out and protesting against their government, but let alone we don't see any of that. But my point being is, again, things are happening all over the world that I can't see the Chinese making this move being such a negative one. I think in my opinion, it's a sidestep right now. They're going to.
It could very well be a sidestep, but remember, they'll hitch their cart. They're mercenaries. They'll hitch their cart to whoever they feel has the upper hand. Okay. Mm-hmm. And it may have been exhibited to them behind the scenes as to what the deep state may be playing out. We are in exceptionally wicked times, as I said last week, and very, very fluid. And so you don't make colossal trade deals only to have the other party who's working in good faith back out. There was some catalyst that was injected into this, and I believe, in my opinion, that it was the deep state getting to the Chinese. That's just my opinion and conjecture on it.
Yeah, no, it's great having conversations like this. I like to hear everyone's opinion, and it's how I formulate my own after hearing more than just one side of it. It's great. All right, Tara, we got a few more tweets here from the president today. Bring us up to speed. Next one here was at 3:31 p.m. Wishing former President Jimmy Carter a speedy recovery from his hip surgery earlier today. He was in such good spirits when we spoke last month. He will be fine. Well, I don't know. Maybe that's a hip replacement or something like that. But those definitely, the hips are usually something that is has a short recovery time.
Well, at his advanced age, he's got to be thanking his lucky stars that he's not under some kind of, cost-benefit analysis rubric that they probably put together in the UK or Canadian medicine, right? Well, you're 90 years old and your recovery and all that, even if you're in good health, against the cost of it. He's, thank his lucky stars in the United States with that type of medical treatment that he's afforded.
Right.
Yep. All righty, last but not least.
Sure, I'll bring this last one up here. I met Marine Sergeant John Peck, a quadruple amputee who has received a double arm transplant at Walter Reed in 2017. Today, it was my honor to welcome John, a hero, to the Oval with his wonderful wife, Jessica. He also wrote a book that I highly recommend. He quotes here, Rebuilding Sergeant Peck. Wow.
Damn.
What a story.
Wow.
Yeah, could you imagine the daily pain he's in?
Jeez.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, we should try to promote that book. I'm going to try to pick up a copy of it. Not try, I will pick up a copy of it.
Yeah.
You're right, we should.
Rebuilding Sergeant Peck is the title of the book. Wow.
But that's a hell of a story.
No doubt. Talk about a hero. Yep.
All righty. SD Cali is in the house.
Yeah, right on. SD, how you doing, man?
Hey, happy Boom Week. How you guys doing?
Good.
Yeah, it's been quite a week already, and we're still in Monday here. So, hope you guys had a good weekend. How are things going?
Pretty good. Hey, what's your guys' opinion? You think this is the week that the D class might come out, or what is the next big piece of information that we might see this week?
Well, based on that Joe DeGeneva interview from a couple weeks ago, he mentioned that Comey was going to be the first, criminal referral. And if we look back to that referral to investigate, or at least look into what was happening with, James Comey, HRC, et cetera, came from April of 2018. That was that Nunez type of memo. So, I mean, all that's now that didn't necessarily say criminal investigation or criminal referral. It just says, we need to look into potential malfeasance, So I think that's lining right up to see Comey being the first one to be, and based on the new Q post that just came out, right?
Right.
So it's all lining up.
Here's just one last note here on the subject of China. Here's from Manny Ottawa here today. If you guys can see this GIF, he says China before the election of real Donald Trump, and now China after the election of course.
That's funny.
Oh, that is hilarious.
That's good.
All right, so SD, great. So you got a little show for us, slideshow to go through for us.
Yeah. If you guys are open to it, I got a couple of slides that I presented today on the Patriot Power Hour, but I was limited time, so if you want, I can definitely go through those a little bit for the audience here if you want.
Yeah, definitely. Let's check it out.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and keep the callers in here. Just hold your questions kind of till he's done, unless it fits exactly.
Yeah, and feel free to jump in if you guys have some additional color or whatnot to add on. More than happy to have you guys chime in. So, all right. So first off, a couple of notables here. I don't know if you guys saw this, but Nancy Pelosi was spotted today over the weekend. Let's have a listen.
Prevent it from happening again. And so again, to look to history and the Nixon experience of whatever you want to call that, it was months of hearings and investigation before they got to a place.
So she's looking a little bit better these days.
She's looking better than she did in the press conference the other day. That's for sure.
Oh man, I thought that was pretty good.
That is good.
Let me drop a link to the slides so people that want to follow along can
Yep.
jump in.
Throw it over to us here if you want us to poke it in the live chat for you.
All right, just dropped it in the chat there.
Yep.
And good evening, YouTube chat. How you guys doing? I hope you guys had a great weekend, and all those mothers out there. Hope you guys had a great Mother's Day. So yeah, next we got, and I don't know if this is going to play because they've been censoring some of these short video clips lately, but this is a throwback to Bill Barr in 1991, his confirmation hearing, which is pretty incredible. Let's see if it plays this time.
Case in court and at the Department of Justice, an indictment standard. We feel we need to have evidence sufficient to support an indictment in hand, that we can prove our case in court. And a lot has been said about not wanting to have a political justice department. And I agree with that. And there's a lot of different ways
Just going to pause here for fair use.
Yep.
politics can come into play in a case. It can be, on the one hand, and I think many of you are thinking of this, you shouldn't sweep anything under the rug. Don't cut anyone a special break. Don't show favoritism. Don't withhold an indictment that should be laid down because of political influence. But there's another side to the coin.
He sure got that same demeanor that he has today.
Incredible, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
And that is, don't hand down an indictment because of political pressure. Don't lower the standard of indictment just because it's politically convenient. That standard, if I become Attorney General, is going to be one standard, and it's not going to be changed for anybody in this country. And I don't care how much political pressure is brought to bear. I don't care what the
What was his vote in, the number?
I'd have to look.
We'll
Maybe
get,
YouTube chat can confirm on that.
What was his confirmation vote?
Yeah, that was back in 1991. So yeah.
Yeah.
what the op-eds say. I don't care what the journalists say if it's not fast enough for them. And I don't care what the political pressures are. That standard is staying where it is. And right now, the career prosecutors in the department, and believe me, I've been pressing them, have explained to me very coherently what evidence is lacking that prevents us from laying down an indictment today.
Very interesting. It's almost as if he was part of the plan from long ago.
Wow.
He was it's like he was destined and he just missed it that go around. You know what I mean?
Exactly. So yeah, definitely retweet that out, guys, because that's some good stuff to share around. And then the next key article we have coming out, some of you might have seen it. It's Representative John Ratcliffe. James Comey either is or should be under investigation for violations of Espionage Act, and it links to a John Ratcliffe video, and you can watch that there on your own. I highly encourage you to check that out. And then, hat tip to, and I would say, hat tip to Dirty out there. He's one of the mods here. Great digger. He's been putting these video clips together. He's done a really great job with this one here. This is Mark Levin talking to I forget the gentleman's name, but he lays out the fact that they're going after President Trump's tax returns. They may want to be careful what they wish for, because POTUS can then, in fact, turn it around on them to get access to their tax returns, such as Speaker Pelosi, Chairman Nadler, etc. So again, think mirror, think boomerang suicide. All that is teeing up nicely for now that POTUS is cleared of the collusion again.
Mm-hmm. Well, I've always in my mind kind of wondered why he's kind of strategically been saying that his returns are being under audit, and I at no time have ever thought that he's trying to hide something about them. That's the thing. I don't know why people think that he is, right?
Very good point. Yeah, very good point. And he even said that. Yeah, he's always said that, and he maintains that statement that his stuff has always been under audit, right?
Right.
He's always maintained that. So very interesting there.
But is it under audit internally or is it under audit by the IRS? And I don't think he should ever put it out there, because all they're going to do is target his assets.
Yep. And there's a thing that I recall that he said in regards to real estate. Sometimes you don't want to see the actual value of the real estate, because that would basically cause a fluctuation in the appraisal value of the real estate assets, et cetera. So totally agree there. Yeah,
Right.
totally agree.
Right. I mean, and again, what they're trying to do with any of that information is to take whatever there is in there, even though it is a nothing burger, and try to project.
Exactly.
Hope that projection is enough to spin the story for a certain period of time.
And now what the key word is constitutional crisis, right? they just continually, use that Saul Alinsky style, projection tactics. And I mean, those Democrats haven't even read the Constitution. I mean, the fact that they're even mentioning that is unbelievable. And they're right. We are under a constitutional crisis, and it's towards the left. So
the crisis is the Constitution is suspended when we're at war.
Oh yeah, you're right. That's exactly right. And we've been under a state of war for
what I remember it a few years ago. It was like 236 out of so many years of our existence. I'm like, damn, they were making a war machine.
And not to mention all the state of emergencies we've been under too. Like Breaking Spectre could talk on that. We've been under a state of emergency at various points, and even to this day. So yeah, really interesting. So next one I want to bring you guys' attention to is, if you didn't see it, Judicial Watch. They have a press room area that I check pretty frequently. But Mueller report proves that it's time to investigate the investigators. So there's a good breakdown here. And, Tom Fitton, he's great over there. So definitely make sure you keep an eye on that. All right, so next we're going to jump to our good buddy Ed O'Callaghan. And so this was breaking on Friday afternoon. Basically, Ed O'Callaghan is being named as the temporary Deputy Attorney General for now. And I'll just reference you guys to the main key takeaway for Ed O'Callaghan. I mean, obviously there's QMAP. According to QMAP, in 2017, Ed became the Principal Deputy Assistant Attorney General of the National Security Division at the U.S. Department of Justice. But he actually chimed in a couple.
That was standing behind with Rosenstein behind Barr in that one press conference.
Correct. Yes.
Okay. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So
okay.
He's been, and we haven't heard a lot from him, Coach Clay. Like we've seen him a little bit, but we haven't heard too much from him. And I think maybe he's spoken maybe 2 times at the most, maybe 3. But this was actually a transcript that I pulled from one of the Secretary Sanders, or Sanders, the press secretary. He actually got up there and spoke for a couple minutes, but this was a good takeaway here. It says, "I've been with the National Security Division since November of last year. Previously, from 1999 to 2008, I was an assistant United States attorney in the Southern District of New York. And if you recall, according to Q team is always referencing, keep an eye on the Southern District of New York. Remember?
Yes.
So then you got from 2005 to 2008, I was co-chief of the Terrorism and National Security Unit in the Southern District of New York. And some of the cases I worked on, of course, during that time included the investigation into the 9/11 attacks that occurred while I was an assistant U.S. attorney in the Organized Crime and Terrorism Unit of the Southern District of New York." So could this be setting the stage of him coming into play for more disclosure on 9/11 stuff. Could be. It's definitely possible. I'm even reminded of when was it? Yeah, so I definitely think it's some type of setting the stage for disclosure in regards to like 9/11 stuff, in my opinion. Okay. All right, so next we just got a couple of Q posts that were on the 1-year delta from last year. These are actually from yesterday in 2018. So let's go ahead and jump through these because these are extremely relevant. Sorry. All right, so you got 1345 posted May 12th, 2018. It says reread crumbs regarding Iran. It was never about worldwide safety and security. It was never about nuclear disarmament. It was about operating a new untapped market. It was about securing a black site. And if we recall, the other black site that the clowns had control of was North Korea. So basically they were, going to be using Iran similarly to how they used North Korea as that, black site. The exchange, you got uranium one, risk the welfare of the world. Why? Money. Organized, planned by BC, HRC, Bill Clinton, HRC, carried out by Hussein. Remember, HRC ran against Hussein. You got uranium one donations to Clinton Foundation, 1.7 in cash transferred to Iran, 4 routes, 5 planes. Did the total withdrawal actually depart the EU? Why the EU or the European Union? Define bribe. Define kickback. Now, let me pause real quick there. So, YouTube chat, remind me, I think, didn't recently at the NRA convention, POTUS signed something that says, like, hey, we're not going to be part of the EU, or do you guys remember that?
Small Arms Treaty, withdrawing us from the Small Arms Treaty.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, so not the entire EU, but just the Small Arms Treaty. Got it. Okay. It says define bribe, define kickback, special interest groups. What U.S./European companies immediately closed large deals in Iran post-deal? And it links to a New York Times article. Cross-check companies against political and foundation payments. Define bribe, define kickback. Why are people panicking about Iran deal pullout? They never thought she would lose. Truth coming. Q. So definitely interesting lineup there, huh? With everything that's been going on, you got Secretary Pompeo talking about Iran. You got POTUS talking about John Kerry and the Logan Act, that he should be prosecuted on that. So, right. Yeah, it's incredible that it's all lining up.
Well, this post in itself is really showing again, or bringing in the connection between the EU and the payments that all of these people in the EU Parliament were getting, and perhaps the other countries in the European or outside the European Union were getting from this $1.8 or $1.7 billion, right?
Yep, exactly. And remember, keep in mind that they were fighting it the most. Remember, last year at this time, they were fighting it the most when POTUS was saying that we're pulling out of the Iran deal.
Right.
So it completely makes sense there. All right, and then you have, according to this Q post 1348, again, May 12th, 2018, it says nuke inspector quit, is an Anon posted that, and then Q is responding, coincidence days after Iran deal withdrawal, corruption everywhere, Q. And I put this as a Q proof because if you look at this article, and if to get access to the article, just click on the Q post. I linked it for you. It brings up this New York Post. It says the UN's top nuke inspector abruptly quits days after U.S. pulls out of Iran deal. And you can see here is May 12th, 2018, 4:36 a.m. So
right.
The talking points are all lining up there for the 1-year delta. So yeah, I mean, at this point, guys, I mean, I don't even try to debate people on Q anymore. there's still people on Twitter who are, calling Q whatever they want to call Q and trying to discredit Q. But at this point, I mean,
It's pretty
like you
obvious.
guys, yeah, I mean, like you guys, we've been doing this a long time, and I don't even focus my energy on that anymore. I rather focus my energy on digs, and I rather focus my energy on, doing research and presenting the facts and the evidence and the tie togethers that, continue to be being played out here. So yeah. All right. So, and let me know if there's any, I can't see YouTube chat. So if there's any questions, just let me know.
Nope,
Got you
I'm-
covered.
All right, cool. Am I doing okay on the pace here?
Yeah, you're fine. Take your time. We got an hour.
Okay, perfect. All right, thanks, guys. All right, so now I want to bring your guys' attention to 1358, again, May 12th, 2018. It says, trust must be earned. Trust is not blind, nor is truth. We must fight every single day on behalf of you, the people who put us here. We knew this day would come. We will never forget. Do not glorify us. We are merely the vehicle. You are what matters. You are hope. You are love. You are peace. Stay united. Stay together. Stay strong. This is bigger than any one person or entity. You are fighting for truth collectively. Will of the people. Trust in yourself. The choice will always be yours. God bless you all. Where we go one, we go all. Q plus. And again, Q plus is POTUS. And he was on it.
I think that was one of the best ones of all the Q plus posts that I like.
Yeah, I like that one.
Yeah, and keep in mind that POTUS went on like a tweet storm this past weekend, right? So yeah, and I will say that it's interesting for me personally to see right here where it says we are merely the vehicle. So I think I mentioned this on Freedom Rings one day, but for me, I've been doing like personal development for like, gosh, over 20 years. And, there's 4 areas of your life that need to be in alignment. And I'll just share this quick tip. So number 1, you have to be the right you, like personally, spiritually, etc. Like you have to be the right you. Number 2, you have to have the right vehicle and find the right vehicle for you. Maybe it's your job, maybe it's a business, whatever that might be for you. Next thing is you have to have the right timing. I can tell you that timing's been off for me at some certain points in my life. And so, having the right timing is extremely important. And then lastly is you have to have the right knowledge. That's key. So once you have the right knowledge, you have the right timing, you have the right you, and you have the right vehicle, all those things lining up, that's when you become unstoppable, personally, professionally, etc. So, maintaining that balance and that center is pretty critical. So just
Very, very well said.
little personal development there for everyone.
Yeah, there's a couple that stand out in here, like this is bigger than any one person or entity. You are fighting for truth collectively. Stay united, stay together.
That's a great post.
It's a good one.
Yep. And then there was this was around the 1-year Delta Mark II. This I believe this was a billboard, obviously. I forget where, but it says where we go one, we go all. Was that in Texas?
I think. Don't hold me to that, but I'm pretty sure.
YouTube chat will definitely know.
Yeah.
Paul's Valley. They'll definitely catch that one for sure. And then it says the hashtag Great Awakening. It says, do you know Q.com? And when you go to that website, it actually forwards to QMap. Do you know Q.com? So it's still working.
Oh yeah.
Because I remember at one point it was actually down.
Yeah, there was like some broken links in there originally.
Yeah, you remember that too.
Yeah.
So, all right. So this is another one, guys. That's a pretty big boom here. So you got 1360, and again, the 1 year delta is exactly to the date here, May 13th, 2018. It says John Kerry, Nancy Pelosi, Bashar Assad, Huma Abedin, and Muslim Brotherhood connection. So here we're looking at the, is he the president of Syria? It's either Syria or...
Well, he's Syria, yes.
Syria, okay, that's what I thought. Yep, okay. So
Hey,
yeah,
I hate to interrupt you real quick. Hey, Coach Clay, university alum says at Susie Odom, they dropped some.
I picked up the link here to go in after.
Okay, thank you.
SD's all done.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Do you want to jump to that now, Coach Clay?
No, by all means, no.
Oh, okay. All right, perfect. Yeah, if something's breaking or Q post or whatever, just feel free. All right, cool. So yeah, so you got the president of Syria and John Kerry, and we know obviously POTUS has been speaking out against John Kerry, and they're definitely utilizing or they had utilized in the past, I think, some of these rogue states. Obviously, they're meeting with them. You see Nancy Pelosi here and meeting with the president of Syria. And then Q says full circle, and it links to the Hill article talking about the Huma Abedin ties to Muslim Brotherhood. And then you got a Scribd article on Michelle Bachmann. And her response says, it's all connected. Welcome back, Huma. Now comes the pain, Q. So that's, boom week, lining up. And
I keep thinking to myself, too, that Uma has just disappeared really off the map the last 6-8 months or more. It's just been
kind of like Ruth Bader Ginsburg. I haven't really seen her much either.
Wow, that's the thing. They go so silent that it just and because the news isn't talking about it, it just disappears out of your mind for a while there. I mean, yeah, this is ridiculous.
Yep.
Ruth Bader Ginsburg, I can't believe we don't have any news about her.
It's still ruthless. Oh, man. All right, so next we got this, obviously this Q post from the Moab, and I went ahead and created a thread here that I'm going to be doing, and these are basically, I'm tracking all the booms for the week so far, and I've already found a couple. I didn't have a chance to go through this on our live show here today, but so the first boom that came out, according to me, it says Nexium benefactor funneled illegal documents to win Clinton's favor as the ex-cult member. So this is a picture of Claire Bronfman, and we know that she's going through court testimony right now. I believe she's even fainted in court. So this is the Seagram's heiress.
Well, she being Canadian, would that not be even an illegal donation of sort, or in that regard?
Probably dual citizenship.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but if she does or not.
Yeah, so she's Canadian, huh?
Yeah, the Bronfman.
Claire Bronfman? Okay.
They're the Harrises to the Seagram estate.
Yep.
Seagram alcohol, yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I thought this was a pretty big boom to start today off. So, I don't know. What do you guys think? I think that's pretty big.
Yeah, that's pretty big.
I do think, and any news I think that comes out that is linking to the Clinton Foundation, I think is people should regard as big news, because that's where it all leads back to. All of this whole global deep state leads back to that criminal organization.
Exactly. Totally agree. I'm going to drop this this thread here into the YouTube chat so you guys can check that out.
Looks like she may be just Canadian, according to Mark S.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the boom 2 we went over already. It was the Judicial Watch press room article that they're starting to investigate the investigators. You got boom 3 is the, according to Gateway Pundit, finally, President Trump blasts FBI Director Chris Wray for protecting the Mueller and DNC deep state swamp. And so this is pretty interesting, because even though we've heard Q say, trust Wray, there's been some different opinions on Christopher Wray, the current FBI director, and so I'm just presenting the evidence here. You guys can make your own decision.
Disinfo is necessary.
Correct. Yes, and I will say that I have a couple follow-ups here. So let's take a look at, first off, I want to look at how many employees do we have currently at the FBI? Well, we got around 35,000. Okay, at the FBI. At the CIA, we got 21,575. And then we got the NSA, which has between 35,000 and 55,000. So, obviously, based on this Edward Snowden thing, we know that the leak of Edward Snowden was to cause and make the NSA look bad and have the CIA take over oversight and full control of the NSA, which, thanks to Admiral Mike Rogers and other patriots and Mike Flynn, etc., fortunately, that was able to be prevented from happening, because that's exactly what their play was. But also, if we look at now the FBI, and Sean Hannity always says this a lot. And Sean Hannity, if you're listening, you need to come on the Patriot Soapbox, because we want to talk to you. We got some questions for you. We know you're a patriot, but we want to get you on We the People Patriot Soapbox here to get some more insight from you. So, but when it comes to, he always says on his show, the rank and file people are great, and all that good stuff. And even Dilly on his show today mentioned that, he didn't necessarily agree with that wholeheartedly, because we know that the FBI, and if you go back to this 60 Minutes interview, and I remember watching this exactly, there's an interview on 60 Minutes about 60 Minutes investigates first ISIS claimed attack in U.S. and what the FBI knew. And it was really interesting because it was like the FBI were waiting out in the parking lot as this was going on, this shooting, and they didn't stop it. It was almost as if they were kind of facilitating the heinous crime and the attack that was happening. Unbelievable. And then you have, don't even get me started on the Vegas thing. But then you have this one coming out of CBS News. The FBI knew about the Florida suspect, Nicholas Cruz, right? So, I can just go on and on and on about the, FBI uncovers another terrorist training camp on U.S. soil, and it's connected to New Mexico compound. So, obviously the FBI has an issue, and we hope that even the article I presented a couple weeks ago, maybe even a month ago, that China has infiltrated many of the FBI field offices, they've realized, and they're having to, resecure and fix that. So, you can say all you want about rank and file, but we know that there's obviously an issue with the FBI, with their credibility, and the evidence is basically exposing that. So anything you guys want to add on that?
In respect to Ray, dang it, I can't remember who gave me the 1318 and 1433. They asked if you would check those out during your Ray comp.
What was the number again?
1318 and 1433.
Okay, let's start with this 1318. So mass exodus in D.C. Justice is coming, posted May 7th. Okay.
It was Big Mo, sorry.
Yeah, this is a long one.
Oh, that is a big one.
Okay.
Right there in the middle. Ray. Right there about Ray.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Right in there.
There we go. Who must approve the firing dismissal of FBI agents? Reread FBI org change, open source, more in pipe. If Sessions and Ray are DC swamp / deep state, why are they cleaning their respective houses? Okay, good. That's good there. like that. Use logic. Why are they slow walking unredacted data? Why are they slow walking doc disclosures? Why is the White House backing up the DOJ? What if the same data is being used by other investigators? Yeah. What does it mean if a grand jury is impaneled? Exactly. Yeah. So this, why are confusing questions asked as to outcome regarding Mueller? What would be the purpose of creating confusion? What was Sessions' Senate confirmation? Yep. What was Rod Rosenstein's? Okay. Yeah. So this is making sense. So yeah, I mean, obviously, same thing, right? In regards to Bill Barr, what are the Democrats doing? They're trying to have him break the law by revealing grand jury or ongoing investigation information, which obviously they can't do. So, they're being forced, I think, as players in this movie script to basically play that role to save face, because either they're going to get life in prison or, straight to military tribunal, take your choice. I really think that's how the conversation went down with them. I mean, I can tell you the military has already talked to these people, in my opinion. It's plain as, it's not necessarily plain as day to see to me, but with all this stuff coming down, with all the Q stuff, it just makes sense that these are just, we're just watching a movie and they're just having to act out. Because if you even look at QMAP, again, you look at the players and it says that we have traders and we have pawns. And so, they're being leveraged. Some people are labeled evil, some people are labeled patriots, etc. So I definitely encourage people to check out the players. And then you said the other post was 1433. So let's go ahead and take a look at that one. That was a good one, by the way. Who was that? Thanks for bringing that up.
That was Big Mo out in live chat.
Big Mo. Yeah, thanks. Really, really good stuff there. Appreciate that. Okay, so we got 1433, again, May 21st, 2018. Military Op Green, General K, John F. Kennedy. Yeah, so this isn't necessarily John F. Kennedy. This is General Kelly, full disclosure, general statement. Once the extremely guarded and highly classified information is finally revealed to House investigators, DNI, public, etc., Rod Rosenstein must recuse or forcibly terminated. Rod Rosenstein problems. What was Rod Rosenstein's Senate confirmation vote? Ray reports to Rod Rosenstein, important fact. Who do you trust? Rod Rosenstein recused, fired, who has direct oversight of Mueller. Sessions unrecused or number 3 until refill. Who is Rachel Brand? Why was Rachel Brand dismissed? Think timing. Oh, you're gonna have to remind me, Rachel Brand. YouTube chat.
That was the FBI head legal counsel.
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah, D5. Yeah, see, that's the D5 page. Isn't that funny that on the Mueller report, remember the D5 page was all redacted?
Right.
Oh, man. You can't make this stuff up, Coach Clay. You can't do it, man.
I've been getting my father into the whole Q thing or whatever, and he was has always been a big reader of the Tom Clancy and that type of stuff going back in the years. And I've been telling him, you just got to go to Q post number 1 and start reading from the start here. It's one of the most amazing real life spy adventure novels acting out in real time.
Oh, that's a good way to put it, man. That is, yeah. That's awesome. I'm sure he's enjoying it. Yeah, because those Tom Clancy novels were great. And they even turned a couple of those into movies,
Yeah, they did. They did.
Yeah. Good stuff. All right. So let's see here. Had another boom here. Yeah, this is a good one. This is the 4th boom. According to I think we did read this one. Obama State Department's Jonathan Weiner. Yep, we read that one. Okay, and then this was the last one here. So, boom 5 for today so far that I've seen. trying to do like real-time news here for the day, but Supreme Court deals Apple major setback in App Store antitrust case. So you got Justice Brett Kavanaugh, who wrote the majority opinion, which was joined by the court's liberal justices. So they're going after the App Store for antitrust, or Apple for antitrust. And I remember a week or two, the Delta was lining up with pictures of Apple, and the Apple complex was posted on pictures. So that's really lining up. And again, some of these 1 year deltas, they don't line up exactly to the day. Some of them do, but some of them don't. They line up within like a week or 2 weeks or even a month. I've seen some of them lining up within. So
I noticed that too.
Very interesting stuff there.
And even pretty soon we'll have 2 year deltas coming up.
Yeah. Someone left a comment in one of my videos on We the People Insider, and they're like, "Hey, when are we going to get some 2 year deltas?" So yeah, to be determined here. So yeah, I mean, with that, I'm going to pass it back over to you guys, I guess, or take some questions, or but that's pretty much all I had to go over. So yeah.
Awesome. That was some great stuff. Thanks a lot. I really like when you're putting those deltas together like that.
Yeah, you got it, man. Thanks again for having me on here. I'm just gonna pop in and say hi to YouTube chat for a couple minutes, and then pass it back over to you guys.
Awesome.
We still got our callers still in the house there, Clarion and Deb65.
I'm here.
Yeah, I'm here. Boy, SD Cali, I really like all that you bring to the table, dude. I really like it.
Yeah, he's got it going on.
I do have a question.
Man. Appreciate it, man. And you give some good insights too, man. Yeah, appreciate your insight.
I was actually down your way, not far from Coronado Island, over the Admiral Kid Club, where the SEALs train last week.
Nice.
So
nice.
Yeah.
Some good Patriots over there.
Oh yeah.
Deb, you had a question for SD Kelly?
Yeah, I did. This afternoon, it was very quick because I was heading out the door from work, and there was a article online said something about they want to have a AG Barr arrested for obstruction, and I was wondering if you heard anything about that.
Yeah, I've been hearing some stuff about that, but I mean, I just think it's pure projection for now. I mean, I don't think that'll happen. You guys have anything on that?
Yeah, it's just saber rattling to make him look bad.
Yeah.
That's what I figured, but it's just it's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, I don't think he's sweating it whatsoever.
Yeah, it's a good point, Deb, that you bring up, because for the normies out there who haven't been paying attention to Patriot Soapbox, who haven't been paying attention to, let's say, Fox News, they're seeing this in the optics play is that, yeah, Bill Barr is this, dictatorial attorney general who's just, basically POTUS's henchman now. And yeah, it looks bad, but if you've been following the facts, if you've been following the evidence, and you've been privy to everything that Q has been saying, I really think you can see through that. Now, I do see in my network of people here in San Diego, in Southern California, for that matter, people are waking up. I even see it on some of the personal Facebook pages that I'm connected with some of my friends throughout the years. They're even kind of changing their tone. People don't like to talk news or politics so much on social media, on their personal social media. But I will say that I've definitely seen a change in, they're seeing stories, and they're starting to become more aware that what's been happening. They've kind of had the wool pulled over their eyes for so long, and now all this exposure and big booms that are happening. it's really playing out nicely for the normies.
Did you see the Sean Hannity show last Tuesday night?
I did not, Deb.
Okay. There were a couple of things that kind of stood out with me. Twice he mentioned patriots. He used the word patriots. He used patriotic once. He interviewed Carter Page. Carter Page used the word because he was asking, Sean Hannity was encouraging Carter Page to sue these people for what they did to him. And Carter Page used the word, what they did was act of terrorism. The other thing was Sean Hannity used TikTok twice. TikTok in terms of James Comey was TikTok. He interviewed Sarah Carter, and she said there's an avalanche of information coming, and he kind of TikTok, that kind of thing. So there was a lot of drops on that. There's just a lot of information, just boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of them that are starting to speak it. I think that Maria has also looked into Q because she's done a couple Q quote type lines. Yeah. Hey, you want to pull up that breaking news real quick?
Yeah, well, basically what it was is that their judicial watch now has 50 lawsuits open now for FOIA information on these nasty fellows there. Pull that up. 50 lawsuits opened into investigation of Russiagate, people who will be heading to prison. This is the link there that Susie Odom was bringing up to us a while back there. And going just down at the bottom here, it states, where is it? Here. Judicial Watch is not waiting for government investigators. However, we have pending approximately 50 Freedom of Information Act FOIA lawsuits seeking information on the anti-Trump coup. Judicial Watch has to date pursued more than 40 FOIA lawsuits in an effort to get to the bottom of the Russiagate hoax, including dozens explicitly dealing with the illicit targeting and other abuses of power against President Trump. We also have 10 lawsuits dealing with the Mueller investigation specifically, because this assault on the rule of law is a dire threat to our Republican form of government. Yeah, that was from Tom Fitton there.
I mean, if you think about it, Judicial Watch is playing such a critical, role in the plan, and and the irony is Tom Fitton is not an attorney, which I love. And, but you look at their Twitter feed, both Tom Fitton's personal Twitter feed and then also Judicial Watch. It really is what they're uncovering, and a lot of that information is being used with the investigations that are going on right now. It's just truly amazing.
Yeah, every day it seems when we don't have breaking news flashing across our face, it's hard to be patient. But the things that are going on behind the scenes, must be amazing.
Yeah. Hey, I was going to ask SD Cali, what do you make of Rosenstein? I think effectively leaving May 11th. Was that does that represent a marker into the plan, or in the plan, in other words, that had to get him out, and then, things are going to progress, with the plan?
I believe so. I think it lines up with everything that we've been seeing, and I remind you of the vote of Rosenstein. It was like 96 to 6 for approval. And if you look at those who did not approve his Senate confirmation, it was those people like Kamala Harris, Cory Booker, the usual suspects that are running for office for 2020 on the Democrat ticket. So, and yeah, I mean, I think it lines up pretty nicely from, and again, like if now looking back at all the Q posts, it looks like some of that was disinfo, right? To confuse, the the bad actors. Yeah.
So, in other words, you think that can you elaborate on that and what your thinking is in terms of Rosenstein and disinfo relating to Q?
Well, I would just say that it's coming out more and more that even if you listen to a segment of Rod Rosenstein from today or from Sunday, there was a news clip that I watched that now he's basically, and even some of the mainstream media is like, according to the Daily Beast, they're even saying that it looks like the mainstream media, it looks like, people were hoodwinked by Rod Rosenstein, that they got taken for a ride, meaning if you have outlets like Daily Beast saying we got taken for a ride, I mean, they're accepting the fact that they got screwed over by Rosenstein, thinking that obviously they thought he was on their side, and he's even been flipped by POTUS because he did meet with POTUS on the secure. He met with him on Air Force One a couple times, and so yeah, I mean, and going back to looking at the jovial, joking when Rosenstein was meeting with Attorney General Barr on Friday for his send-off. They were very jovial and joking, and so you can just read the body language that, obviously he was just basically playing his role and acting. So I think he's been a white hat all along, is kind of the move that I'm seeing.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's shedding more light on that for me, because again, some of these people on the Q map, if you look at it, says it's unknown what their true nature is, right? And I think that's part of the plan, to keep them guessing.
Yeah. Well, how do you square that then? I appreciate that. How do you square that then with the Q post that basically was like of Rosenstein's, I'm paraphrasing, dirty, then Mueller's dirty. If Mueller's dirty, then Rosenstein's dirty. Would you, in order to kind of support your thesis there, would you say that was disinformation too?
I would, because the more and more it looks like too, with Robert Mueller coming out, I think that he's more on the white hat side than we might have led to believe with some of the Q posts as well. Because keep in mind that he's got a lot of these deep state players, with Ukraine and with Manafort and with all these, convictions and, not necessarily prosecutions. I mean, look at General Flynn, right? He's been sentenced, but there's been no, prosecution. There's been no jail time. So, and it was to collect, more evidence against the bad actors, I believe. So we really haven't seen, Robert Mueller. I mean, I know that's debatable to whoever you talk to, but I mean, logically and critically thinking, looking at, all the Q posts and how things have been playing out, I mean, he's more a white hat to me now than more of a gray hat. And I know he was caught up in some things with, in the past or whatever. But I'm sure, keep in mind that he did meet with POTUS prior to being assigned as a special counselor, or the special counsel. Well, no, Mueller did.
Yeah, but it was Rosenstein who brought Mueller to.
Correct. That's right. Good point. And also, Robert Mueller was meeting with POTUS for potentially the FBI director job, but he couldn't qualify for that. It wasn't a possibility. Remember, because you can only serve as FBI director for like 10 years or something.
How about this, Clarion? What's your thoughts on this thought of mine in terms of that Q post there of if Mueller's dirty, RR is dirty, etc. Well, perhaps that comes down to the whole thing of what the definition of is. So what is the definition of dirty? So that dirty doesn't necessarily mean criminal or corrupt or.
Well, okay, so if you look at it critically then, so you've had 2 years of the investigation. So if you're going to take the position that Mueller and Rosenstein were playing into a part within this, then there had to have been some kind of upside to that, then would had to have been that the 2 years needed, irrespective of what it yielded, with what, and that's what we're going through right now, because that 2 year period of time must have been part of the plan, just kind of extending the logic here to S.D. Calley's kind of thesis, that they needed that 2 years to do X, and that X is to have all these parallel investigations. I'm not quite on that, but I'm just pointing out that if you are taking that position that RR and Mueller were working in tandem to the benefit of the alliance and the plan, then why did we have this 2 year investigation? Then on balance, there must have been some overwhelming positive outcome, then objective rather, for those 2 years. And perhaps that could have been like a whole a plan that was going on with indictments behind the scenes. But then also you have to look at all these Q posts, and is it really logical to assign that wherever you come into kind of a conflict, then to just assign that, well, that's part of the disinformation campaign, because it gets very complicated. But on the other hand, too, look at these Q posts where the number of indictments prior to when they were talked about that interim attorney general after Sessions
with Whitaker, yeah.
With Whitaker, and then you also, I mean, it was this has been game theoried out, and there's such a fluidity to this because President Trump was in jeopardy with what they actually had with those indictments against his children and then his son-in-law. And, but for Barr coming in, they may have actually prevailed with a weaker attorney general. But then one could say that was part of the plan too, to let it get up to the hour. So it's a very complex, variables here. But at the end of the day, I am not on board necessarily with Mueller and Rosenstein being white or gray hats, in my opinion.
Yeah, I go back to that one Q post where he says about Mueller is working to, basically save himself. And in that regard, what that does is to the art of the deal. You don't go into any deal without, or any kind of big business meeting without leverage. And that's what gave leverage to POTUS throughout this whole time.
Yeah. I mean, the whole thing with the art of the deal,
trying to save his butt this whole time.
Yeah, I mean, that's what this is. It is basically leverage all over the place, and that perhaps could have been the whole reasoning behind the meeting with Mueller, is to lay it out and logically, like, look at all the leverage we have. Right. But these guys are literally the fight of their life. Further than General Master, look what they did to his father, because he was not able to stay in the administration to where they wanted him at the national security level.
Right. Good point.
Yeah, and that's a good dovetail into even people in the military are somewhat might have been compromised or leveraged inappropriately. So this is coming out of military.com here. I don't know if you guys saw this article today, but it was one that I forgot to mention. It says top enlisted Navy leader with California helicopter squadron relieved of duty. And it's talking about Command Master Chief Petty Officer Brian T. Morris. And just to read the first paragraph here, it says the top enlisted sailor with a California-based helicopter squadron has been removed from his job over a loss in confidence in his ability to lead. So, definitely interesting to see that, keep in mind we have people in the FBI who are bad people or have been leveraged to do bad things even in the military, maybe some people who are necessarily being leveraged or, leveraged and forced into doing bad things for whatever reason. But same with, Mueller and Rosenstein, maybe they were forced into doing some of these bad things. And, either they're good people or bad people, depending on the situation. But, and I think it's designed that way as part of the plan unfolds. So yeah, I just wanted to bring your attention to that. And then also wanted to share with you, if we look at this letter to Congress, or from Congress, to Jeff Sessions, Christopher Wray, and John Huber. This was the one I was referencing earlier, April 18th, 2018. And I'll just read the first sentence here. It says, "Dear Attorney General, General Sessions, Director Wray, and Huber, we write to refer the following individuals for investigation of potential violations of federal statutes." So again, this was setting the stage last year in April of 2018 for what now is coming in May, the criminal referrals. And again, you have, Comey, who else do we have? Comey, HRC, the usual suspects there. Mm-hmm. But definitely interesting to point that out there.
Wait, now that you say that, it just kind of, I had a kind of a thought that the Mueller investigation, this 2 years, bought time for POTUS to clean out the federal and the appellate court judges too, and get them appointed, the ones that he had recommended.
That's a really good point, Deb, because that reminds me of even the California election at the primary. There was a record number of judges on that ballot. I've never seen as many judges on that ballot ever in my life, and I've been voting for over 20 years. So, that's a really good point you make there. Really good point.
Well,
and
that's
also,
one of the things. Sorry.
Oh no, I was just going to say, and also keep in mind that the number, if you look at QMAP, you can see the number of sealed indictments. Currently we have 96,000 sealed. We have 9,000 around unsealed, and then we have 209,000 non-sealed. So that's a lot of time and keep in mind, you have Huber and the 470 right there. We went over this, I think, a couple weeks ago. You have Huber out of Utah working with his 470 investigators to do all this behind the scenes work. They needed to have until May, you would think, to put all those cases together in the last 2 years, plus not to mention the voter fraud that they're exposing, and all the resignations and CEO resignations, and this is global. So I mean, that makes more and more sense that, hey, maybe Rod Rosenstein had to wait to exit stage left to fall in alignment with the timing of the plan.
Well, and if you think about it, I mean, this is going to be one of the biggest RICO cases you could ever think of, multiple RICO cases.
Yeah,
Yep.
Good point. A good point.
Exactly.
RICO is definitely a good point to bring up.
Yeah, a lot of those.
I brought Drunken Pinata and Hoosier Patriot into the room for the round table.
Awesome. How you guys doing?
Hey, SD. Really cool to talk to you, brother. I like your style.
Yeah, thanks, man. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, much love to you, man.
Yeah, same for me, SD. Nice talking to you.
Yeah, you guys too. Always love listening to you guys on Freedom Rings. I can't call in all the time because I'm working, but yeah, I like hearing you guys on there.
Well, did you guys, Hoosier Patriot, did you have anything particularly you wanted to bring about or talk about?
Yeah, I did. Hey, good to hear you, Sergeant or Coach Clay. Good to hear you, brother. Yeah, I wanted to talk a little bit about the meeting. That keeps coming up, and I think there's some things about that get missed. All right, so let me start by saying that at the meeting we had POTUS, we had Rosenstein, we had Mueller, we had Giuliani, and I think key to the whole thing, we had General Mattis. And I think I somewhat agree. If I heard right, I agree with S.T. Cali, what he said earlier about how he thought that meeting went. In other words, they went in there and they were basically shown, Rosenstein and Mueller, I mean, they were shown, hey, this is what we've got, and you can play ball or you can go to Gitmo. And I think that that's probably the way it went too. But here's the thing. Strozik, or Stroke, however we say his name, and others in his group had eyes on that meeting. And how do we know that? We know that because there's text messages that prove it. They were texting back and forth, and they were in abject panic over the length and time of day of that meeting. The meeting lasted for 4 hours and went late into the night. And this is why S.T. Cali is probably correct. I think Stroke and their people thought it was going to be a 30-minute meeting. They thought that Moore was going to walk in there and Rosenstein was going to walk in there, and they were going to tell POTUS, this is what we've got, this is what's going to happen, and in a few months you're going to be out of here. And it didn't go that way. So the text messages can be found at the Daily Caller. I may have the link if I've got it. If I've still got it, I'll go look for it. I'll try to post it in the live stream before I go to bed. But when you go and you look at, I want to think of the date. I want to say, I'm probably getting the dates wrong, but I want to say May 15th or May 16th of 2017.
Okay.
When that went down. I might have the dates wrong. But yeah, they were in abject panic.
Yeah, that's a really good read there. That's a really good read there.
Stroke couldn't believe it. They met until like 11:30 at night. And it wasn't supposed to go. I don't think it was supposed to go like that. That wasn't Stroke's plan.
Right.
You know. Anyway, that was really all I had. Much love to all you guys. SD, it was really cool to talk to you, brother. Anyway, you guys have a good night. I'll get off and let Drunken Pinata talk for a while. Thanks a lot.
Hey, take care. Who's here, Patriot? Nice to hear you, man. God bless, man. Much love.
Hey, SD, I'm just so you know, I'm a Guardians of Intelligence on the live stream. Talk to you guys later.
All right, man.
That's good to know. Yeah, I didn't know the correlation there. Okay.
I didn't know that either. All right. Hey, thanks for coming in. Come back anytime.
So live chat, that was Guardians of Intelligence out there. Awesome.
Good stuff. Good stuff. It's always funny to like talk to people and talk to them in live chat and then find out like, oh, yeah, you're that guy. Oh, you're this guy. You're that girl. You know, like because some of us have, you know, different names on Twitter than we do on Discord, than we do on YouTube chat. So it's awesome. It's good stuff.
Yeah. How about yourself, Drunken Pinata? Do you have any words to say here? It looks like we only got about 8 minutes left in the showtime today, but by all means, how you been doing?
Been doing all right. We got
how are things on the home front? Things still going okay?
Yeah, we got session number 2 at the marriage counselor tomorrow. So we'll see how that goes.
Good on you, man. Good on you.
Yeah.
So, but as far as research is going, I've been making really good progress on my my Godspeed research project. I finally figured out the actual ordering of the red stringers and how they all tie together and the order in which they're supposed to be read. So very, very good news on that front. But and then I've also, I think I got about a 5 or 6 slide, just a quick 9/11 presentation that I'm working on for you, with just some small numerology things, but stuff that's actually pretty convincing as a good 9/11 red pill for people.
No, that's awesome. And by all means, if when you're done there, you got your stuff ready to do, you can use all of our time that we've got on the channel here to show the folks some of that stuff. It'd be great to see it.
And is this Friday the one you guys are on?
Yeah, we're on this Friday.
All right. If I can get it done sooner, maybe Wednesday. But if not, I'll try to plan for Friday.
Just plan for Friday.
Yeah.
That probably might be best.
Yeah, take your time, do it. We'll talk to you on Friday. We'll set some time, and no pressure. If you don't get it done Friday, we'll do it Monday. But we definitely want to see it.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. Yeah, I dropped a little bit just of some of the side research I did on the call-in show earlier, dealing with if you guys heard about Sirius, the canine dog that perished on 9/11.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, that was
stuff along those lines. I mean, they really tried to they tried to exploit everything that they could out of that date, and it's just
yeah, it's pretty amazing how far they went. Yeah.
But that's all I had, guys. We'll talk to you very soon.
All righty. Take care. Come back anytime.
That was Drunken Pinata, folks. Great to have you on again, the show. Awesome.
Deb, real quick, any closing words?
Well, at the Mueller meeting with POTUS right before he was appointed, my gut or my feeling would be that, POTUS sits there and tells them, hey, we know about your connection with uranium-1, but I want you to investigate. He encouraged the investigation because he didn't want there to be any doubts in anybody's head. And that's kind of how I feel about what could have taken place. The other thing that I don't think a lot of people realize is the uranium-1 treaty where President Obama sent all that money. That was never a signed document.
Right.
So that's really all. Anyway, and just thank y'all for letting me come on. I really appreciate it. And I'll see y'all later.
All righty. Thank you.
Great to have you on.
Clarion, last but not least.
Hey, thank you. Thank you for your show. I really enjoy your show. And just a couple things. Drunken Pinata, we're very, very supportive and proud of you, dude, going into that counseling. So I think that it's easy to forget that, the dynamic of marriage, and then you could have a spouse that's completely on the other side is just really, that can be a really struggle. So we'll keep you up in prayer. And just three more things I'd like to say real quickly is don't trust the Chinese, don't trust the deep state, don't trust Mueller, don't trust Rosenstein. These guys, the plan has been very fluid, and look at how many assassination attempts that they tried. These guys, they're in the fight of their lives. So we need to continue to prayers up for POTUS, and Father God, I just pray over the whole alliance and the white hats and all those that are in hot operation right now and special forces in Jesus' name. Amen.
All right. Amen.
Yeah, well said. Yeah, on that note there, Clarion, one of the quotes I always like is, love many, trust few, and always paddle your own canoe.
That's right. And what Reagan said, he used to say, trust but verify. It's actually, ironically, it's a Russian proverb, but yeah. So thanks for all you do, SD Cali, and great to be with you guys once again. God bless.
All right. Take care.
Thank you, Clarion.
I got you, man. God bless, man.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, SD. You're welcome anytime as well.
Okay, yeah, guys. Hey, much love. God bless. Hey, guys, make sure you follow Coach Clay on Twitter, man. We need to get his Twitter following up, man.
Yeah, he does.
He deserves it, man. He works hard over here at Patriot Soapbox. So make sure you guys follow him. I'm gonna drop it again. So hey, much love, Coach Clay. I70. Thanks again for having me on. Always a pleasure.
Before you go, the last minute of every show is going to be show and tell. So I want to do my new shoes that I just got in.
Yeah, nice.
Hey, thanks for coming out, SD.
Yeah, you got it, guys. Much love. God bless. Take care.
All righty. Hey, Chris, are you in the house?
Yeah, before Chris jumps on, make sure we give a shout out to our volunteer pre-screener down there in Discord, doing a great job. I definitely want to give a shout out there to Sosa321. Thanks very much. Let's give her a round of applause, folks. All right, then let's also give a little round of applause out there to SD Kelly Conservative for coming on the show and all those great callers out there. Live chat was great to be here with you again tonight, as always. And this week we do have our 3-show week, so we're here on Wednesday evening, same bat time, same bat place, and then on Friday night as well to enjoy that Friday evening with you.
Going to be a fun week.
Yeah.